The order came in at 3:07 a.m. I remember the exact time because I was sitting in my car, staring at my phone, trying to decide if I really wanted to take one more delivery before ending my shift. It had been a long night. The streets were almost empty, the kind of empty where every traffic light changes for nobody. The city that usually felt alive had gone quiet. The restaurants were closing, the sidewalks were abandoned, and the only things moving were the occasional passing cars and the wind pushing trash across the road. Then I accepted the delivery. The address took me to an old apartment building on the edge of the city. I had driven through that area before, but I had never noticed this building. It looked like the kind of place people moved out of and forgot about. The paint on the walls was peeling, the entrance gate was damaged, and most of the windows were completely dark. I parked outside and checked the address again. It was correct. I grabbed the food and walked inside. The moment I opened the entrance door, I knew something was wrong. The entire building was dark. Not normal nighttime darkness. Complete darkness.
The hallway lights weren't working. The elevator display was dead. Even the emergency lights that are usually left on in apartment buildings were gone. My phone flashlight became the only thing guiding me. As I walked through the hallway, every sound felt amplified. My footsteps, my breathing, the sound of the food bag moving in my hand. The building felt empty, but not peaceful. It felt like I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. I finally reached the apartment door. I knocked. Nothing. I knocked again. Still nothing. Then, after a few seconds, I heard someone moving inside. Slow footsteps. The lock turned. The door opened. A man stood there. I could barely see him because the apartment behind him was completely black.
No lights, no television, no lamps, nothing. He looked like he had been sitting in that darkness for a long time. He didn't seem surprised to see me. He just reached out and took the food. "Thanks," he said, quietly. His voice was calm. Almost too calm. I expected him to close the door immediately, but he didn't. And that's when I noticed the inside of the apartment. There was a table, a chair, and the man sitting down, eating, in total darkness. At first, I thought maybe his lights were broken. Maybe he didn't care. Maybe he was using his phone or something. But there was no light anywhere. I watched him pick up his fork and take another bite. Slowly. Carefully. Like he had memorized exactly where everything was. The sound of the fork touching the plate echoed through the apartment. The same movement. The same rhythm. Again. Again. Something about it made my stomach feel uncomfortable. It didn't look like someone having a late-night meal. It looked like someone performing a routine. Then I heard something. A sound coming from behind him. From the darkest corner of the room. Breathing. Heavy breathing.
not normal breathing. It was slow and deep, like someone struggling for air. I looked at the man. He didn't react. And that's when the realization hit me. He wasn't eating alone.
He wasn't sitting in the dark because he wanted privacy. He was feeding something. My eyes slowly moved toward the corner. At first, I saw nothing, just darkness. Then, the darkness shifted. Something moved. Two shapes appeared inside it. Not bright eyes, not a reflection. Just two empty spots where the darkness seemed even deeper. They were looking directly at me. Every part of my body told me to leave. I slowly stepped backward. I didn't turn around. I didn't run. I just kept moving. Then the apartment door behind me started closing. Slowly. By itself. My hand reached for the edge of the door. Before it could shut, my heart started racing. Because I knew if that door closed completely, I would be standing inside that apartment with whatever was in that corner. The man suddenly stopped eating. His entire body changed. For the first time, he looked scared. Not scared of me. Scared of what was behind him. He looked toward the corner. The breathing got louder. Closer. The man whispered something. I couldn't understand the words, but I understood the fear in his voice. I pulled the door open and stepped back into the hallway. Then I ran. I didn't stop until I reached my car. The moment I locked the doors, I just sat there, trying to calm down. The city lights outside felt different. The noise of the streets felt comforting. I wanted to believe I had misunderstood what happened, that there was a normal explanation. But later that morning, I checked the delivery details. The order was real. The payment was real. The address was real. Everything existed, except the apartment. I looked up the building records. That unit had been vacant for nearly 2 years. Nobody was registered there. Nobody was supposed to be living there. I still don't know who placed that order. I still don't know who opened that door. And I still think about the man sitting in complete darkness, eating dinner, while something in the corner waited for its turn.